Aloha, and how you doing? Welcome to IDmachines Talk. Gordo the tech czar and Andrew the security guy.
How you doing,
bud?
Nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you.
How's the world treating you?
Treating me very well.
We survived HICTA.
Yeah, we'll talk about HICTA, but grab yourself a libation, pull up a towel, sit down and join us for 45 minutes of fun and frolic, as I would like to say. We have a Goomba on the show today.
A what?
A Goomba.
What's that?
A Paisan. Salvatore D'Agostino. I mean, what kind of great name is that? I told you I spent a little bit of time in Little Italy in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
So
is that where? Okay.
That's
right
yeah.
on.
So my father spoke fluent Italian with a Scottish accent. So no one understood him. Even the Italians didn't understand him either.
That's what happens when you speak Italian in
Canada.
Canada.
That happens. Anyway, Sal's going to be on. He's going to talk about his company, IDmachines LLC, and some cool new stuff he's working on.
Sal's amazing. Had some good fun
stuff
with him at HICTA this week, too.
Yeah, and he was at HICTA. So HICTA was this week. For those of you that showed up, that was awesome. Hey, did the media were there.
Hibachi Talk was there.
Hibachi Talk was there.
KHOM4, somebody filmed me.
Yeah, one of the TV
I don't know if it was on
stations
TV. I don't know if I was on or not. I didn't see it.
Yeah, you were. You did an excellent job, by the way.
You did see it.
I was there.
No, I mean when they filmed me.
Oh no,
the TV
I didn't
break.
see that part.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how that went.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah,
Look,
so there's the
Angus was on. Look, Hillbilly was there.
Hillbilly was there.
He made
Angus
an appearance
was there.
at Hibachi Talk.
Angus bought 50 beers.
I know. That was popular.
Yeah.
He's probably the most popular guy at HICTA, besides Sal.
Besides Sal, yeah. So he bought 50 beers, and people had a lot of fun with that, and they hung around.
Yeah.
They hung around
they
afterwards.
Did. It was good.
So it was good. It was a good event. For those of you that missed out, too bad, because I got some phone calls later, some people that didn't make it, and they were a little concerned that they may have missed a good one.
Yeah, well,
I said, you didn't only miss a good one, you missed a great one.
Yeah, well, so, next year.
Next year. So anyway, I got some news, like I always do. Let me pull it up here. A couple things going on. I always do this update on the Apple FBI.
Okay.
You know,
what's the status?
The status on that.
So Tuan talked about that. He kept talking about.
And Tuan is whom?
Tuan Nguyen, the assistant special agent in charge of the FBI out here.
Yes.
He was our keynote there. I thought it took him a long time to get to. He never really. He just addressed their position. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
They need to investigate. You know, so I have to give him kudos for going down that path. That's a tough discussion to have.
This is. Well, and you and I start our training next week at Citizens Academy with the FBI.
We're getting inducted.
So, well, it's
into the Citizens Academy, not the...
No, watch out. So Andrew and I start our Citizens Academy at the FBI next week for a nice 8-week
We'll have to give a little segment on that an update.
Yeah, we'll do an update.
What's it like? We'll get some pictures.
Yeah, we'll do an update. Well, if they're allowed.
We always have new sessions. We have new features on this show like all the time.
Will they allow us to take pictures?
You have to keep coming back. You can't take your phone in.
Oh, okay.
Not usually. Every time I've been out there.
Yeah, so there you go. So, might not be taking pictures. Anyway, update on the FBI. So the FBI, put in a request, order, whatever, for Apple to...
A writ.
The writ.
Yes.
For Apple to hack the phone. Well, I just was doing a little bit more research on it, and one thing came up. Why don't they just go to NSA and ask the NSA to hack it for them?
If they can crack it?
Because the NSA does this for a living. Remember Snowden?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So this is what NSA does, and I thought to myself, why wouldn't you do that? So I went and did a little bit of research. Guess what? NSA has hacked Apple phones.
Oh, already?
The iOS,
new ones, or?
Yeah, the iOS level before the current level. Now, I don't know which level of iOS they're running on that phone.
Oh.
But, and dug a little deeper, and so the NSA has done this. They won't admit it, but everywhere I read in the media and things like that seem to indicate that. And I thought, well, then, so what's the difference? And they said, well, NSA doesn't care about evidence.
Right.
They just care about intelligence.
Right.
So that's...
because FBI's investigative,
there's a juxtaposition there, right? So that's why they don't help each other.
They may not have a charter, like by law, they may not be able to help them do that.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
I mean, there's a little phone call in the back
that's
hallway.
just the stuff they put in for us to read.
For us to read. Anyway.
I hope they're actually helping them.
There's a $350 product out there that hack an Apple phone.
A what?
$350. I found it. The product out there is $350 to hack, not the current iOS, Apple phone. $350.
Oh.
So.
Did you get it?
I'm going to sell it to the FBI for $350,000.
Nice.
I'll give them a nice discount.
Maybe they'll pay you in Bitcoin, brother.
Yeah. Oh, I'll take it.
I know. We take Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's hovering at 417, just for the record.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so that was one. So Apple's in the news again, too, because they got hit with ransomware.
Oh, really?
So
Whereabouts? A lab? I didn't see that.
I didn't see. Yeah. So Apple got hit with that. They got hit with their first ransomware attack in the operating system in their Macs.
Okay. Wow.
So they got nailed with that one. And you know that hospital, Presbyterian Hospital, that got nailed about a month ago.
Yep.
Yeah. So they paid $17,000 in Bitcoin and so on. So now it's it started to show up. Apple's gotten in and done a patch, but no one's really sure they caught every hole in that patch. So
I mean, that's part of the game, right?
Yep. So that
they
was that
attack,
one.
we defend. They attack, we defend.
There we go.
We don't seem to be able to get offensive on that side of the ball, but you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. U.S. government's cracking down on major Chinese telecom company, ZTE. They set up a bunch of subsidiary companies to sell product to Iran, which is in violation of the agreement.
The trade agreement we've got now.
So they got caught.
What's it actually called?
Yeah, the U.S.
sanctions. We have sanctions, right? Trade sanctions.
Yeah, the trade sanctions.
Wow.
So they got nailed.
What were they selling them, do you
know? Didn't say, but you know, they provide a lot of infrastructure,
probably
a lot
military
of
hardware.
Technology for mobile phones.
Okay.
And so one of the questions that came up was, found it in the news, is that it's not going to impact the ZTE products that are being sold here in the U.S. right now because the manufacturers or the distributors have bought it all already. So they're not, but it's the stuff going into the future. So the Chinese government, the U.S. government, are getting into a little.
So we'll put additional tariff on the stuff they're trying to sell here to make it harder.
To make it harder,
hurt their profits, whatever.
Something.
Yeah. Right on.
So that.
Why can't we all just get along?
Like you and I do.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
They should come on and Baji Talk. We'll sort this stuff out.
Come have a couple of beers with Angus, and the problems of the world are solved.
They can dance with Hillbilly.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
See, you can dance.
Yeah, you can move. Speaking of which, those guys dancing. Amazon. So they just bought, or leased, $11.5 billion, with a B, of aircraft. Not drones.
For freight.
For freight.
Yeah, I know they're standing up freight industry.
They leasing 20 Boeing 767 wide bodies for their for their
cargo.
Yeah.
For people.
So I'm sorry, I don't know what they're spending on those leases, but they spend $11.5 billion a year in transportation. Cost of mail delivery.
So that's why they're getting into that's a business for them.
So they've got to get into, because they use, obviously they use FedEx and the Brown guys and everything, and the local post office and all those kinds of things. So anyway, so they're getting into that, and they're not going to stop the drone product.
Yeah. I heard that's going to be near the universities, right? It's where they're going to try that first. So.
Yeah, universities at their bookstores, because the bookstores at the universities are getting overwhelmed with it all.
Okay.
Overwhelmed. Your phone is flashing. Does that mean you got tweets coming in or something?
I don't know. Look up. We have some up there. I may have some.
Yeah, okay. And so that's another one. And then I got, this is where we talked about how the legislation never catches up with what's happening in the technology field, right?
Yeah.
It's never there. So you'll be pleased to know that senators are close to finishing encryption penalties legislation.
Encryption penalties?
Legislation. Now, I have no idea what that is, because I haven't done the deep dive.
I would imagine they're putting out product with poor encryption, in which we've been talking about all week.
I know. So there
should be a penalty.
The long-awaited legislation from Senators Richard Burr and Dianne Feinstein topped the Republican and Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee list. It's there, and you'll be pleased to know that it has a very high unlikeliness of getting passed.
I wonder if Sal may know about that.
Yeah, he may know about that.
That's right up his alley. It'd be interesting to hear.
Anyway, they said it's probably going to get stuck somewhere. So what they're doing is they're going to form another committee.
Okay.
That's what we do in this world here. So
another committee to study the other committee.
Another committee to study the committee.
Sounds like it's state of Hawaii stuff.
So so they're going to form another committee. So we're probably at least a year to 2 years away, and by the time they come up with the legislation,
and it's an encryption what?
So you're looking it up now. Okay?
I
encryption penalties legislation. The long-awaited legislation is from the senators. It would expose companies like Apple Inc., which is fighting, the things we're talking about. Senators are expected to circulate the draft bill. So essentially, it's legislation that's going to force a hack.
What?
Force the hack? Yeah. Could force the hack. Faces an uphill climb and a gridlock Congress during the election year. No kidding. It is particularly unlikely that the proposal will gain traction in the U.S. House. So there you go. Interesting. So that's what's happening in that wonderful world of all the news I had this week.
where strong encryption can be shown to have hindered law enforcement. Okay, so they're going to go after. They want to help law enforcement. Kind of what Twan was saying, right? Like we have to have a dialogue, and I just agreed with his statement. I really did. You know, like we need a dialogue there around when is it worthwhile to do these things. And it's a tough question. Like he said, it's a tough debate, but I don't want those guys hindered from if we could save one life by finding out more information. I think we need to be able to find that information. I think like they want to read everybody's phones. Like they specifically want some evidence. Yeah. And people don't know how to. People I don't think don't know how to separate those two ideas, right? As if they really could be looking at everybody. So they don't have time to look at everybody's freaking phone. They just don't care.
Well, if you look at mine, they'll be bored to death trying to keep those guys asleep.
And most people are bored. I mean, what do you think? What are you really up to out there? You think the FBI wants to stare at your phone all day? Y'all ain't doing nothing.
I mean, I wouldn't mind looking at Zuri's phone and see what she's got on that. Anyway. So we got that happening. Anyway, we got the no tech job segment. We got to do that. So anyway, I came up with the no tech job. Since we were talking about Security Day, I found this. And
nice.
Isn't it wonderful? Look at that gate. So there's the gate.
Boy.
And because it's been snowing, you kind of get a sense of the route they take.
I just don't think they're using the gate. That's sad. That's called a poor application.
It's a poor, I don't know. This is like, got one tech job. It's there, isn't it great? It's awesome. It's awesome.
I've never seen anything like
it. Is it access, ingress, egress?
Both, it looked like.
Allgress.
They're going in and out around the gate. I guess the gate's broken is my first thought.
Is your first thought?
Yeah, it doesn't go up anymore.
Okay, maybe.
I'm an applied guy. That's how I think.
It's not Hawaii.
They couldn't afford, it was snow, They couldn't afford the maintenance.
Yeah.
So you want to do security minute? Before the break?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got your security minute.
Yeah, before the break. We got
I'm sorry, I just take all your time, don't I?
You yakking over there.
Okay.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all good.
Give a Holly a microphone.
So this is interesting, I thought. So MasterCard, everybody's using like your finger on your phone or a password or some dual authentication for sending a text to your phone to get into your data. MasterCard is going to let you use a selfie. So you can take a picture of yourself at the time of the transaction, and it'll compare it to a picture they've got. How's that?
I'm loving every minute of it.
So their chief product officer, right, AJ Bala, says, he says this technology will be ubiquitous in 5 years. They really want something that you are. And we talk about that in the security industry. So a selfie. What I don't know is if you could fake it, right? What I don't understand is how it works. I haven't seen it work yet, so I don't know. If I took a picture of you and then that's the selfie at the time, could I get into your account?
Yeah, I know.
For example.
And
so I'm sure it's dual. It's a piece of dual authentication of some type.
So is that to make a deposit or a withdrawal?
They want to use it at the ATMs.
Oh, at the ATMs.
Yeah, and you could have a choice. Hey, take a selfie or use your fingerprint or whatever. So they're looking for ways, I think, to take advantage of some of this technology that's out there. But I thought that was interesting that you see something like a selfie being pulled into the security space. I'm not sure if it's a good or bad idea yet, but interesting.
I just got a selfie stick given to me last week.
I don't think they let you use that.
I could use that. I've never used a selfie stick, so.
I think they outlawed them already. You might be behind the curve there.
Oh, damn it, here I go. No wonder I got it given to me. That's why it was given to me.
Nice.
Yeah, they outlawed the selfie. Well, you know where they've outlawed them? I know they're not allowed to take them.
Concerts and
stuff. You can't take them to concerts. You can't use them in Disney World.
And you can't walk around with them because you run into people.
You can't run into Disneyland. You can't go there on it.
They're no fun anymore.
Yeah, so. Yeah, well, they do look silly.
Well, it's a hazard.
Yeah.
And then you're blocking other people's
like
view. Yeah,
I'm not too narcissistic. Here, let me take another shot of myself. There's a haircutting commercial where a guy or a girl take a picture of themselves and float around and go back and take a picture again instead of go like,
I haven't seen that one either.
Well, you ain't missing much.
You've been getting out there. I've been
now that I'm semi-retired.
See,
there's a cautious moment.
I gotta quit.
Now that I'm semi-retired, I have a little bit more time. Not. Anyway, we got to
go get Angus.
Let's go get Angus. We got to pay some bills. We'll go get Sal.
Yep.
Bring him up here, and we'll be back in about a minute.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage here on Think Tech. This show is so very dear to my heart. We talk with artists of various different ilk here about the process that they go through for their art. So we talk about what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they do it. And it's a show that is inspiring. This is what I hear from people all the time. And a show that will teach you something sometimes something about yourself. I hope you'll join us. The show is Center Stage. It's on ThinkTech every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then.
Aloha, this is Reg Baker and I am the host of Business in Hawaii. We talk about positive stories of businesses in Hawaii, how they have been successful and how they have overcome some of the obstacles that a lot of us encounter when we try to have a business here. And believe it or not, there are a number of positive stories here, and we want to talk to all of you. So we broadcast live every Thursday at 2 o'clock. And it rebroadcasts again on Olelo Channel 54. So I sure hope to see you next time. Please tune in on Thursdays at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Aloha, namaskar, and hello. I am Anu Hittel, and I host a show on climate change. It's called Climate Change Beyond Outrage. And in it, we go beyond outrage to look at solutions to global climate problems facing people, nations, and the world. Join me every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Hawaii Standard Time. Aloha, namaskar, and goodbye.
Aloha, welcome to ThinkTech Hawaii. My name is Josh Green. I'm the host of a program called Healthcare in Hawaii. I'm a physician. I work in the emergency department in the Big Island. I also serve in the state senate, which, please don't hold that against me, doesn't detract from my television program. We speak about all the big healthcare issues in the state. We get together on Tuesdays from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we try to talk about the most important issues in healthcare. This is a terrific venue for people to learn about healthcare. There are many programs on this station. We broadcast it later, not just on the internet, but also on OC16. Thanks for joining us. Please be informed healthcare consumers.
Hey, aloha. Welcome back to Hibachi Talk. We're going to be with Sal D'Agostino in just a minute, but first, Angus has always got something for us. Welcome, Angus. What's up, buddy?
Aloha, Drew. How you doing there, lad?
Good, good.
It's great to see you again.
Good to see you,
We had fun at HICTA.
Yeah, we did, and we got some guests out of that. And
yeah, we sure
thanks
did.
For buying all those beers,
yeah,
man.
The beers were great.
You were the hit of the party.
Yeah, and a few new lossies too.
Yeah, well, yeah, awesome. I saw you working your way around.
Yeah, I know. You know, when I was at the show, I started to realize that some people don't really understand what I say.
You think?
Like you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got an idea. I came up with an idea for a new segment for the show. And we'll give it a shot right now. It's going to be called the Scottish Word of the Week.
Okay.
So this is going to be the Scottish Word of the Week featuring Angus McTech, which is me. So the word of the week is Ken.
Ken.
K-E-N.
Do I just have to say it?
Ken. No, you can say it.
Ken.
Okay, first you got that great Scottish word down. Now,
Ken.
You have to tell me, what does it mean?
I don't know.
I'll give you three. I'll give you three
It's
hints.
like friend.
No, but wait. I'm gonna give you three. Wait. So I'll get a new slide up here. I'll even make it easy for you. We'll throw up a new slide and say, okay, here's what it is. It could be Jock, Ken, a pole. Because in Scotland we play a lot of games. Like Jock and I play a lot, and Jock and a pole could be how we play it in Scotland. That's one idea. Okay. The other one, it's something I can do. I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. Or it could mean I understand that. So you tell me that, lad. What do you think?
It's like, not like what, it's like the opposite of what. It's like, yes or something, like, okay, I get it or something.
No, it's one of those. I only gave you three already. Don't make one up.
I don't know.
Okay, it's number three.
I understand that.
Like,
oh, I'm supposed to guess from those three. I thought those were three hints.
Okay, next week we have to rehearse this again. Anyway.
Good job.
Anyway, it's Ken. It's like,
Ken.
I didn't ken what you're talking about.
Not like care, I can.
Kind of like you didn't ken the segment. Anyway, so we're going to move on to the gadget of the week.
I cannot do my homework.
You're killing me. Anyway, this is something you need to have at your house. You need one of these. No, you can.
I can.
No, you can't. Anyway, this we're gonna have it. It's a Samsung robot vacuum. Isn't it really cool? Yeah.
Oh, like a Roomba.
Yeah, like the Roomba, but this one is supposedly better.
What's it do?
It's more powerful, suction, and a leading robot vacuum blend, which is the other one we just talked about, creates optimal cleaning paths and avoids obstacles. It has less clogging and prevents clogging up from long hair. That's why I need it.
Yeah.
The clogging up
from long hair.
Yeah, it's going to
help out your house a lot.
Yeah, long way. Anyway, it's really cool. It's a really cool device. Anyway, that's all I got. I'll have a new word for you next week, and we'll see if we can
see if I can figure out how to play the game.
See if you can't ken what it's about there a lot. Anyway, that's it. And this is Angus McTech saying, remember, let your wind gang free wherever you be. Aloha.
I'm trying to help Angus out with these games. I'm just not very good at it. I apologize. I will work harder next week. Anyway, we have next with us Sal D'Agostino, not fresh in from Boston. He's been here a week or so, but we had a great time with him at HICTA. Sal, welcome to Hibachi Talk.
Glad to have you,
be here.
Sal, nice to have you here.
Gordo,
pleasure.
Thank you for having a little fun with your ethnic background.
That's okay. I'm Southern Italian, right?
Oh, Sicilian.
No, Calabrese. Yeah, the tip of the boot.
Calabrese, you heard that, huh?
Oh, Calabrese. Oh, very cool, very cool.
Tip of the boot.
So anyway, we have some standard, simple questions. We'd like our audience to kind of get a sense
get to know you.
Get to know who and so on. So we're just going to get a sense.
Fair enough.
So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Ossining, New York. It's 30 miles north of New York City. It used to be called Sing Sing, and they didn't like that, so they changed the name. So I'm from up the river, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's literally 30 miles up the Hudson River from New York City. So
okay.
Ossining, New York. Born, raised there, spent my first 18 years there, and then got shipped off to college.
Yeah. What'd you do? What'd your folks do?
So my dad was a bricklayer, and my mother was a housewife.
Were you a bricklayer?
Did
you do that thing?
I was definitely a bricklayer. I was more the brick mover.
And I used to haul the mud,
I made the mud. I set my father up. I mean, he knew what he was doing with the stone. Eventually, he let me touch it, but first, God knows how many tons of brick and mud I had to move and block and everything else. And never had to touch a weight in my life.
You look like a guy that spent some time in the Bronx, or in New York, or in Sing Sing. I'm not.
Wow.
Well,
you had to go there.
Well, in fact, my first job out of college was trying to sell insurance door to door to mailmen in the Bronx. So
wow.
I got my sales career trying to cold call on Bronx mailmen, and they weren't too happy to see me. And I can tell you, I learned every dog in the neighborhood before I was done.
Awesome. Hey, I just got an emergency flash in here. We got to do an emergency commercial break. Right at this point in time.
Technical.
So, or someone's going to give us a big donation. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Aloha, my name is Kirsten Baumgart-Turner, and I'm the host of Sustainable Hawaii at thinktechhawaii.com. We air live on the internet and also on Oceanic Channel 16. I'd invite you to come for a fresh new show every Tuesday from 12 to 1 o'clock. I try to bring on guests that give us a different viewpoint on aspects of sustainability in Hawaii, as well as trying to unpack some of the difficult concepts of measuring and achieving sustainability, particularly with regard to sustainable economic growth and prosperity in Hawaii. Please join us every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. Mahalo, aloha.
Aloha, my name is Chris Leatham, and I'm really interested in topics related to our local economy and local politics, and what we can do to help local entrepreneurs succeed and achieve their dreams and aspirations. So I bring on guests who talk about a variety of these issues, and so I'd like to invite you to come onto the show every Wednesday at 3 and watch our show and get informed and educated on all the sort of exciting things that I'm sorry,
Okay, I'm Jay Fidel, that's Ray Starling. We co-host a show called Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, every Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. It's really interesting. Ray has a way of unzipping these guys. He asks them these questions and all this stuff tumbles out, and we find out stuff we would never know about without Ray's questions. Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome, Jay. I'm very pleased to be your Ed McMahon every Wednesday at 4 o'clock here on the internet. So you can join us and see what's happening in the energy world, and there is a lot going on. So join us every Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, come around, be energized right here on Think Tech. Aloha.
Aloha, namaskar, and hello. My name is Anu Hittel, and I host the show called Climate Change Beyond Outrage. We go beyond outrage to find solutions to climate problems facing people, nations, and the world. I hope you will join me here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We broadcast live from thinktechhawaii.com. Aloha and bye-bye.
Aloha, I'm Carlos Juarez, host of Global Connections, and I want to invite you to come join us. We cover a range of global issues. We bring a lot of expert opinion, a lot of issues, whether they're contemporary events happening in the world or maybe looking at things from a more historical perspective. Global issues, very important for us to understand in this globally interconnected world. Join us here on Global Connections.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Yeah, aloha.
How
Welcome
you
back.
doing? Hi, welcome back. So it was nice getting that $250,000 check. Anyway,
Must have been the guest that brought it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw you.
We appreciate you. We'll bring you on more often. You get $250,000 checks sent here. I'll tell you that.
So anyway, we are here with Sal D'Agostino. We're just getting, introducing him to their background, selling insurance in the Bronx.
Yep.
To mailmen.
Yeah, to mailmen. That
Trying to get $2 out of their paycheck.
So
like
after you spent all this wonderful time selling insurance, by the way, did you manage to sell any?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did.
Cool. That's
Right on.
all right.
I did.
And
It's
what,
a good education.
Yeah, certainly. You learn how to sell.
you moved up to vacuum cleaners after that?
No, I moved from there to straight into being an economist for the Department of Energy.
Nice. The sales
Well,
education where it went well.
Well, trying, and again, it's not an easy thing to do to get people to use renewable energies. This was back in 1978.
Wow.
when,
Okay.
After the oil embargo, not directly for the Department of Energy, but for a consultancy where
Okay.
we researched all the alternatives that were out there.
This is in the 70s.
And you were still in New York at that time?
No,
or?
I was in Washington, D.C. It was
Okay.
in 1980.
And you went to school in Cambridge?
I went to Harvard College in
Right on.
Cambridge, Massachusetts, and
Right.
and I've got a son who's a freshman there now, which
Nice.
is kind of great.
That's
so,
awesome.
Not bad for the son of a bricklayer.
Yeah, amazing. Good story,
Can
man.
you say Harvard?
I can park my car on Harvard Yard if necessary. Yeah. I've done it actually. It's not so easy to do, right? Getting past the guards, a little social engineering, and you're in. Parking spaces are tough in Harvard Square.
Yeah, so you parked your car in Harvard Yard.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I'm bilingual.
Yeah. You and your dad.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. So, so you got into the energy business, and then
Consulting business,
Consulting.
really.
How'd you get into the security business?
Well, I was more. Well, the energy stuff was more. Was technology, right?
Sure.
So it's what were these alternative technologies that were out there, and I mean, to me, what happened was, I would actually come up with, I thought, were some pretty good ideas and send them off to the Department of Energy. And what I then realized that my job wasn't then to pursue what I'd written; it was to deliver the report, more or less. And so, which I did. But then that wasn't the most satisfying thing in the world. So the company that I was working with actually had this relationship with a firm in Europe, which was in the technology transfer business. So just like I'd been doing technology assessment for energy technology, this firm actually looked at a whole range of technologies. So I had to sort of become a technological omnivore. Okay. And I worked on material characterization equipment. I worked on nuclear reactor upgrades. I worked on better formulations for cement. And then one of the things, no, seriously, it was like, what
did you call your dad and say, hey, Dad, I'm really going to help
No,
now.
it's like, okay, what technology today? So
I'm thinking in Italian, he makes cement shoes. I mean, what can I say?
and then one of the technologies that we looked at actually was automation. And so and it was a company near the Swiss border that made these machines that could automate little stuff. So it was an introduction into manufacturing and automation technology. And I went from there to beginning to develop robot controllers and robot programming languages, early into the artificial intelligence in the 1980s. And then one of the things, and then I actually, instead of sort of working on any kind of automation, I focused on machine vision. So for 18 years, I ran a company called Computer Recognition Systems, which is and made computers that could see things.
Could see things like as in facial recognition.
Well, there was facial recognition and other stuff, but a lot of what we did was for manufacturing quality control. So we actually built machines that would inspect the Bank of England's currency. We actually measured the length of McDonald's French fries because
nice. That's cool.
No, because when the potatoes were going into the cutters, if they had if the French fries were not the right length, they could adjust the cutters. And if they had the little bits, no one wanted that in the bottom of the cup. And when you make that many potatoes, just leave those little bits. budgets end up being, tons of money over the course of the year. And sort of what happened.
You heard it here first.
You had to learn how to measure your French fries before you cut them. Your potatoes before you cut them.
Well, it was the feedback loop. So you needed to keep them the right length, or else, because those little bits should be going into the hash brown bag and not into the bag for the fries at McDonald's.
So that's where the little bits go.
Yeah, well, that's where they're supposed to go.
Oh, okay.
Right. You don't want them in the bottom of the. Who wants the little stuff in the bottom of the cup?
I like those ones in the bottom.
Yeah, they're a little crunchy. To each their own.
I always look forward to getting to the bottom. Get the little ones in there.
But the fun thing though, and the reason and how I got into the security and all the identity stuff was that on a manufacturing line, basically your job was to get the good stuff through and catch the bad stuff. And so if you think, and then from there I started doing sort of like electronic toll collection systems, and I put up these violation enforcement systems that if someone didn't pay their toll, send them a ticket in the mail. So I've made a lot of friends in a lot of places for having done that. But what I found out was that security really is sort of a quality control problem, right? And so same sort of thing. What's the job of security? It's not necessarily to catch the bad guys. It's to keep people safe and keep things moving. And then if you run into a bad thing, then you want to be able to identify it. And it was, and there was always kind of an interesting part of that, which is you couldn't turn it up too high to take your time to look at everything, because then the line wouldn't be moving fast enough. So there were always been these, from the beginning, an understanding of the trade-offs between
convenience and security.
Convenience and security, and and then rolling forward from there, was involved with a company that started doing work in the identity field. And and then I just found that was also just extremely interesting.
Yeah, let's talk about identity a little bit in privacy.
Define it.
You gave a great talk on that. Well, you have a lot of identities. You're many things depending on what it is you're trying to do. Right? To your bank, you're a number maybe, or maybe you're a fingerprint or something. But let's talk about identity. What's your take on where identity plays? For us in the security world.
What is the definition of identity?
What?
Is it person, place, and thing?
Well, no, it's kind of your persona, it's your personality, it's a whole combination of things. For the people in the field, you talk about a bunch of authoritative attributes or well-defined things. So, and some things about you are permanent. So my name lasts forever, right? The color of my hair changes over time, right?
For those of you that have that,
right? But so there's
and you may have no hair eventually.
I'm probably headed down that route as well. So your height's pretty stable. Your address changes, right? So there are certain things. So your identity is a combination of things that you are forever, and then things that you are today. And the interesting thing is that with a lot of what's going on in the world today is that that's changing all the time, right? And now identities, it's not only you, it's your things, right? So a lot of you think about it. America as a culture, who you are is your car as much as for a long time. Now who you are is your phone.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. Right. Your social identities, right? There's tons of those. You might not even be who you are. You might be aliased completely, right? So
I know.
Ghostwriters.
Just think of who you are out there in the social media world, and I know who you are out there.
You do?
Yeah.
I'm a few things.
Well,
I have attributes.
Yeah, and in some ways, you don't want to use your identity. You just like you'd like pseudonyms.
Pseudonyms, sure.
Personas, even anonymous transactions, right? So besides my day job at as the founder of IDmachines and the stuff that we're doing there, which include kind of.
So hold this one. Hold this
off.
Point and pause, because we're talking about IDmachines, and we're really going to get into this, and I want to spend on this. But I want to take a little. Go ahead.
Yeah, but if I could just finish on the identity front, right? So if I get into a little bit of what besides what I do for my day job, actually, the President Obama in 2011 started something which is called the National Strategy for Trusted Identities in Cyberspace. And one of the challenges in the United States is actually we don't really have an identity. We don't have an identity credential, right? And so a lot of what's going on in the world today is because we've got this gap. So is it a driver's license? Like the Social Security number is a nightmare, right? People use it all the time. So as part of that strategy, there was a public-private partnership that was created, which is something called the Identity Ecosystem Steering Group.
Identity Ecosystem
Systems Steering Group.
IDESG, yeah.
The IDESG, and about a year ago I was elected the president of the IDESG, and we're actually trying to develop these rules of the road for identity, and it involves a number of things, right? So right away everybody's talking about security, but like the conversation we had before about the knob on things, right? So if stuff isn't usable, then it isn't secure. So like, you know, why a password such a pain in the neck, right? Because the secure ones have to be 20 numbers long, and 20 numbers and characters and special things, and, and no one can remember them. So that doesn't work. And so when you're trying to do identity right, it needs to be usable, it needs to be secure, it also needs to be privacy enhancing, and then it needs to be what we refer to as interoperable or widely usable across a number of things. So it'd be nice if in fact your identity credential could be used again and again and again.
Yeah, right. It should be, so that it can be tied to whatever thing related to. But like I love the idea of like an IPv6 address. I think that makes sense. We should all have our own.
So speaking of identity, and we have this thing we call potholes in paradise and so on, and I found this. We found this,
and
I thought of you the moment I found this one.
What?
And, they're repurposing. We're finding new ways to repurpose potholes here in Hawaii because it's just postable. How's that? Right?
It's tremendous, right?
Yeah, it works well.
What do you think about that cab?
Well, I'm just considering the portions of this. Guys, reminds me when I was a kid, and I could eat as much as I wanted, right? I mean, that's what my mama used to throw that right in the middle of the table and say, "Go ahead, Sal."
Finish that great big bowl, right? That would come in there. That was like 20 Minto Street. I remember that street. Anyway, so there's just a little thought. So coming back to, so you talk about the identity, right? So who the identity is, and then, but there's all of those systems that are out there that are capturing identity, whether it be photographs, your credit card,
or attributes
your attributes, and so on. So you're doing some cool stuff in that space.
So it's interesting, so I actually, my previous company put a facial recognition system in Heathrow Airport in 1986. So I've been involved with facial recognition stuff for a very long time. It was always an incredibly difficult problem, and the reason for it was always hard to capture a reference image that would then map to how the person was looking, because you can stand there in front of camera straight up and take your picture, but then when you try to recognize someone's face, it's not like they're posing for you to recognize their face. But the funny thing that happened is, like with Facebook, and everybody started getting tagged. Now, guess what Facebook did? It made it easy to do facial recognition because suddenly we're saying, here's a picture of me, here's a picture of me, here's a picture of me, and so all of this social sharing actually enabled the ability to do facial recognition. It wasn't that suddenly the algorithms got better or the technology maybe the resolution got a little better, got a little cheaper, but it was suddenly that there were so many pictures of Sal or pictures of Andrew or Angus out there. So when another one shows up, it's easy to do. It's easy to do the match.
It's like having a broad-based reference system,
the volume builds the recognition.
The volume of reference images basically made it the case that the one that you then take the snap of, there's one more close enough to it in the database to do the match.
Maybe that's why MasterCard is going to go after that selfie idea. I thought that was kind of
interesting. The selfie idea is not a bad one. I mean, but again, if you're using biometrics, you got to combine it with something, right? Because it's not.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, you need two-factor at least.
Well, you typically need it like there's something you are, and there's something you know, and there's something you have, and the something you know, which is a secret, has always been an important one because that's general. If it's a secret, then that's kind of a good thing because then the other person is trying to be you probably doesn't know what that is.
So speaking of secrets, because this will be first that the people are ever going to hear about this, because this is brand new. This is brand new, state of the art. No longer a secret. You're the godfather of it. Oh, I just made that up.
And what's it called?
So give us a little intro into this.
Well, so this is something we call idola. It's actually it's the plural of the Greek word for the ideal of a thing. So a little.
So it's the ideals of a thing.
The ideal of a thing, right? And so, like, when you're trying to do security, I mean, there's sort of this ideal that you want to try to get to, right? You don't want to do bad security, and you don't want to do bad identity. So the idea of something being ideal, if you're going to roll out a product, why not roll out an ideal one? And it also has this sort of light, dark side of it. So, and the word idle. So, as security folks, if it's only about security, sometimes you're worshiping a false idol. You think because you're a security person, then you absolutely know how to do this. And really, the thing that I learned from knocking on those doors was that, in order to get someone to do something, you probably should be talking to them a little bit as well.
Yes,
so the ideal security product is actually something that, going back to the other stuff that I talked about before, is something that people use, solves a real problem. And what this is doing, it's building on this automation background that I've had forever. I mean, one of the problems in the world today around security and cybersecurity in general is that the complexity of this stuff is just croaking everybody, right?
Routing controls, the internet of everything.
It's why, Apple, when they deliver a computer to you, you want it fully configured, just press the button, ready to go. Like, nobody actually sets these things up. But in the security world, Andrew, like your guys that are out there,
got to configure it.
The devices that you're installing are getting pretty complex. And then the other thing that's happened is that because of the Internet of Things, suddenly all these devices are now living on networks. So before when they were just a wire that was going into a system and it wasn't on a network, you didn't need to know much about it.
Let me just get a camera shot here on this fine thing. So tell us, what does this do?
So
what does this fine piece of technology do?
So this is the 21st century equivalent of the multimeter that the technician used to have before. So
it's a cyber multimeter. I love it.
It's a piece. Basically, this automates the configuration and the setup and the checking of the things like the security
devices,
the security cameras or the door controllers or the other
switches
stuff that Andrew and his company install. So that's why we're out here. We're actually working together to roll this product out.
Right.
So when Andrew's people who really know a lot about how to wire something properly, they can also be making sure that the security systems that they're installing are being configured properly. So that they're really installing a security system and not a vulnerability.
So the infrastructure, the network, routers, switches, all of those kinds of things can be double checked to make sure password's been taken off. The right firmware, the FTP, the right settings have all been put in there.
The MIDs are operating nominally, so it can go very deep. So it's quite amazing, because also there's human error in there too, right? That people are installing it and trying to configure things, but you got to configure 500 things. That could be as many as 20 settings per thing. It's 1,000 settings. You might miss one or two.
You could miss one.
This device will find that for you.
Yeah, and one of the other things is that for whatever reason, manufacturers ship stuff wide open so that you configure it. So in fact, when Andrew gets a security device, it's shipped to him in the least possible secure state. Right. So that means that before something goes out, you really have to check it and then install it, and the checking is complex, and this basically automates the checking.
Okay, so unfortunately, we burned through 45 minutes and faster than you know.
Yeah,
and we got to check out. So where can people find out about this?
It's IDmachines.com or IST or
GJB and Associates.
Yeah, get a hold of Hibachi Talk.
Exactly.
You really want to take a look at what this can do, and I would guarantee you that many of you who have security systems out there do not have them configured correctly. What are the statistics? 80% are not configured correctly.
There are over 50,000 cameras of different manufacturer varieties that are shipped with default usernames and passwords. A guy on a couch in Eastern Europe can probably be watching what you're doing at home, and you really just don't want that to be the case.
So we never send anyone away empty-handed, my friend.
Thank you.
This is our official autographed solo cup.
Oh man,
it's number 59, right on.
Hey.
Nice one too.
Yeah, it's almost got my age right.
And Andrew sprung for these new ones, so they're really kind of nice. They're the real official kind. Anyway.
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been great. I mean, really appreciate it.
Anytime you're back out here, you're welcome to Hibachi Talk.
And this is really, I'm telling you, this is the future right here, and you're seeing it here first. Really cool stuff. I wish we had more time to talk about it. And we'll bring it up from time to time. We'll follow what's happening on this as it
we'll get you IDOLA updates. We'll have a segment.
All right, so as we have just had a wonderful lunch hour and enjoyed everybody coming up here having a libation, we want to thank Zuri and Nick for this and Jay for helping us get here on Think Tech. Sal?
Well, thank you very much. Aloha and salute.
Good luck on the Bronx. Anyway, as we would say, at the end of every show, 1, 2, 3, how you doing?